All right, folks, what's going on? How's everybody doing out there tonight? If you're, I already see we got a few people up there posted. If you're showing up, make sure you go ahead and throw down some sort of salutation so we can recognize you. Let us know that you're there. We appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. We got a great show planned ahead of you. Welcome, everyone, to the Dangerous Liberty podcast, where we talk about guns, gear, politics, so much more, and where everybody here knows that the only thing more dangerous than liberty is the lack thereof. So let's see what we got. Mike Hen, great to see you as always, buddy. Willie, great to see you guys. Dan, what's happening, Dan? Thanks for all your hard work, Dan, this week on the website. I know we've had you busy doing all tasked out, and we appreciate your hard work on that. Jason Rad, good to see you. Aaron, John, good to see you. John, I am stoked about your case. When we get those SBK cases in, I'm going to do a full review of those. I've used the SKB cases before. They are definitely a big upgrade from the standard Pelican. And yeah, I'm excited to get that one in and kind of show everybody that what we did with your particular rifle, given the challenges with your particular rifle, which not a challenge, is freaking awesome. It's a longer barrel, 300 PRC. I'm just really stoked about that build overall. Dominic, good to see you. Richie Futrell, good to see you. First time caller, been following your videos for some time. Hey, well, welcome, Aaron. Thanks. I appreciate you tuning in. Yeah, let's see. Rich says, hello. Hey, Mr. Gundy. So funny story on that. Again, I appreciate everybody that is going and has, number one, I appreciate those nominated at us. Obviously, there were several folks that nominated us for a couple different categories on these Gundies. And then I appreciate those of you that are voting for that. First of all, I didn't know what those were until somebody texted me and said, hey, I noticed that you were nominated for the Gundies. I was like, great, what is that? And then I did a little looking into it. So again, appreciate that. I still don't know that much about them, but again, we appreciate the nomination. Ed, good to see you. Norberto Rodriguez, good to see you. OG Stevo, good to see you. X-Ring, Ray, I was just getting ready to talk about Ray. Hey, folks, if you guys haven't checked out, first of all, our good friend Ray over at X-Ring, which is just an awesome channel. I've been following his channel for a long time. He was kind enough to come on. If you haven't checked out our live stream, which, we need to get together and do that again very soon. Great content. I love the detail that he goes into that. Folks, when you are watching YouTube, you can watch a channel for, I think most, or at least some people can watch a channel for 10 minutes and you can very clearly figure out those that have experience and know what they're doing and have some technical knowledge about what they're talking about. And then there's those that don't. And I think that those that don't dominate the YouTube sphere, and they're very, they touch on guns, tactics, and everything else at a very surface level. And Ray is definitely one of those guys. His whole channel is definitely one of those guys that falls into someone that clearly has not only operational experience, he has a good background on that. Again, go check out our live stream that we did a couple months ago. But on top of that, he's a guy that knows mechanically what's going on with guns. And if you're not following his channel, I definitely recommend that you go follow his channel. With that being said, the last video, or maybe the video before that I put out, was on the Dominus SR. I think if you go watch Ray's most recent video, that is a great follow-up to that video, because he actually compares the Dominus SR Surefire suppressor and the Flow 556, which is made by a company I can't think of right now. I want to say Hilux. I know that's not right. Anyways, 3 great suppressors that he compares. And again, lots of good information, lots of good technical knowledge, and a channel with real content. I mean, it's, he knows what he's doing. And he's just a great guy too, by the way. Let's see. Who was that again? Let's see. Evening, Ed. John Walsh, good to see you. Tim G, good to see you. Huxworks. All right. Huxworks is the name of that. There's a couple companies that are now making these flow through technology suppressors where they impede and create less back pressure. They impede flow of the gases coming out of the end of that barrel a lot less, and they create less back pressure. And one of the suppressors they test is kind of comparing the other two well-knowns against is that Huxworks Flow 556, and it's a pretty interesting suppressor, and I'm curious to see more long-term kind of reviews on those. There was a couple companies, as a matter of fact, and Ray, you may or may not know, I believe it was Crux, or there was another company that made a very similar suppressor. I don't think, and I'm wondering if they didn't change their names from Huxworks to, and again, I can't think of what the exact name of that suppressor company was. Very similar technology, very similar design. It looked almost the exact same as that one that had come out about a year or two ago. And I'm just wondering if they either sold that design or they renamed their company. Ray's follow up on the Dominus convinced me gonna be a bit till I have the money. It's a good investment. OSS, that is correct. Now, Ray, that is absolutely the one I was thinking of. Is Huxworks formerly OSS? Clay, I got a Magnus coming. That is en route. And on top of that, folks, I got a CGS Hyperion coming. I'd really like to see a comparison between the Magnus and the Hyperion. So let's see. Willie, the Gundies are expecting over 2.5 million votes, so it could be 100,000 or more people voting in CMPTS. Again, we appreciate that, folks. We appreciate that support. We look forward to, 2023 is going to be our best year ever. 2022 was our best year ever, and it was because of this channel. It was because of the people on this, and because of our long-term clients, training clients. You know, first and foremost, we're going to get into a little bit more about that tonight, but we are a training company, and that's where we're always going to stay. I know you guys love gear reviews. I love gear too, and it's a kind of a natural thing that we're always going to do. But at the end of the day, folks, what all this is about is sucking you in to get some training. And again, you know, that's where your focus, you know, my job here is to indoctrinate you into loving training. Like, we all love the gear, but, you know, making sure we get out and use that gear is really what it's all about, right? And doing it proficiently. Test the Magnus. We are going to be testing the Magnus without a doubt. And again, I have the Magnus coming, and I have the CGS Hyperion coming. We're going to do those side by side. I'm really curious to how those perform against one another. Yeah, they were bought out. So there he goes. Ray's confirming that OSS was bought out by Huxworks. I thought so. And you don't have to talk about it right now, Ray, but I'll pick your brain another time. Oh, if you have one of the original OSS suppressors, and that if there's any significant difference between the two. Chad Wyckoff, good to see you, buddy. All right, so my first thing that I want to bring to everybody's attention, and this is Gary's moment of outrage, right? Because this stuff just drives me up the wall. And I'm going to throw this document up here, so I'm going to pretend that I know how to share my screen. Let's see here. News layout, and then I'm going to share a screen. I always hate this because I can't ever. There we go. Present. Slides, extra. We're going to share a screen. All right. Select window or screen. We'll do entire screen here, I think. Allow. That's why I need like a freaking movie producer, some producer here. We're going to do it like this. There we go. Now I can come down here. I'm going to pull this up. I posted this to our Facebook account. And go back to this for a second. Can't do that. All right. Anyways, posted on our Facebook account, folks. And this is here in Berkeley County. And this is an ordinance that they are proposing by our county council. And this is one of those, it's not even very thinly veiled. It's an overt attack on personal property, personal liberty. And the only thing that outrages me more about garbage like this is there's people stupid enough to actually vote for it, because it's one of those things that sounds good. And anyways, it's just God, it's crazy. So anyways, it's Article 2, removal of unsafe structures and litter. They're going to regulate the repair, alteration, or improvement, or the vacating and closing or removal or demolition or any combination thereof of any dwellings or other buildings except for buildings used for farm purposes on land actually being used for farming, unfit for human habitation due to dilapidation, defects increasing the hazard of fire accidents or other calamities, lack of ventilation, light or sanitary facilities, or any other conditions prevailing in any dwelling or building, whether used for human habitation or not, that would cause the dwellings or other buildings to be unsafe, unsanitary, dangerous, detrimental to public safety or welfare, whether the result of natural or man-made force or effect. And it goes on. I don't have it actually, the second page of this, but it goes on and it talks about how it basically gives those enforcing this, it gives them the ability to come onto your property pretty much anytime they want. And, there again, folks, we have a house, literally two houses over, and we live kind of in a rural area. I will say we have a property, two properties over, that has like a half-built house. They have some connexes on there. They have a bunch of junk. Their fence is composed of 2 tires stacked about every 10 yards with like a post coming out of it, some strings going across it. And then they literally have like those disposable round baking pans tied to it and a bunch of junk. And there is nothing that I would like more for them to clean that up. It makes our whole area, the whole area where we live, look trashy. And, I'm always tempted, like, man, I wish somebody'd go in there and just, number one, tear down this house. They started building this house many years ago. It's now dilapidated. They're not finishing the house. They have 2 additional trailers that look like they were really old single wide trailers that, a trailer park threw away. One of them, they habitate sometimes. It's not their only property, so that they're not always on there. But, basically this would give bureaucrats, and it goes on to talk about how they're going to appoint somebody to, a city engineer, but bureaucrats would come in and be able to tell you what is good or what's not, and then fine you, and then force you to tear it down, force you to make certain repairs that will cost money. And it's one of those things that sounds good initially, but it's also one of those things that just gives local governments the power to completely disregard your personal property rights and personal liberty. And I hope people are out there are aware of this type of thing. And please do not be tempted when you got that trashy neighbor living next to you. And everybody thinks that would vote yay for this, thinks that it wouldn't happen to them, because what they're going to do is, first they're going to go out, they're going to clean up the neighborhood, and they're going to take care of the really big problems. And then you're going to have that guy running around looking to keep his job and to fund his job that are going to be going after. Again, this is completely ambiguous. They can pretty much say anything. Then you have some people going around and they're going to be coming to your property and telling you that you got to tear down a building or make repairs or fine you. And folks, don't be tempted by this nonsense. So that's my rant on this. All right, let's talk about some other things here. I got my suppressor shipped to you from Texas once it gets approved. Was talking to my gunsmith in Texas. He said, after it gets out of jail. Why are you shipping your suppressors to me? Let me know that. That's the question. Class 3, we should be able to. Looks like Summer's on this. There's probably something I missed up here, or some context I'm lacking. It can be transferred between FLs as a Form 3 would have to be filed, and can't do that once tax stamp is issued to you, as far as I understand. Once it's approved, physically pick it up and fill out the 4473. Summer's adding on here, ordinance is written would allow them to enter private property at any time. So I don't have to drive 18 hours to get it. Shipped to you from Texas. Long range left, you can order a suppressor from us, and then we would ship it to your local, if that's what you're asking. You can order a suppressor from us, and then we would transfer it to your local SOT. So if that's what you're asking, so you don't have to drive here to get it. Yes. As a matter of fact, that's the way it has to be done. We cannot transfer a suppressor to someone out of state. The only thing that we can do that we can transfer to someone out of state is a long gun, so a rifle or a shotgun. All right, Summer's correcting me. That's not what he's asking. Doesn't surprise me at all. I barely know what's going on. All right, folks. So another topic, and again, we'll get to any other topics that you guys want to talk about, whether it's suppressors, pistols, long guns, whatever you want to talk about. Got a big announcement, folks. So what I've done on our Patreon account is I am putting together the Paramount Online Training Academy. And this is going to be a really fun and beneficial to you, but it's also going to be a lot of fun and obviously beneficial to us. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to be posting basically 1 hour training routine per week. So what you're getting out of that, and this is a $30 a month subscription fee, by the way. But what you're getting out of that is we're going to cover a very detailed lesson plan right at the beginning. We're going to make this super simple and easy. We're going to tell you exactly what we're covering, why we're covering, mindset and methodology. And we are going to basically make a very efficient, regular training routine for you that you can follow. And folks, if you follow this, you will get better at shooting. There's no doubt about it. We're going to give you some purpose, some structure, essentially a curriculum that you can watch this video. And out of that video, you're going to know exactly what you're going to do, what drills you're going to do, what equipment that you need to do it, and you can go train. And it's designed to be a 1 hour training block for you. Obviously, if it's an area of interest of yours that you want to train longer on, we're going to have the initial buildup of the instructional portion of that video, showing you exactly what to do, why to do, how to do it, why to do it, demonstrate it. And then we're going to go into some dry fire. And then ultimately it's going to culminate in a 1 box of ammo live fire training session. And my intent here is to be very efficient and for it to be cost effective, both from time and money perspective. There again, the drills that are going to be there, you can run multiple times. If you want to use 10 boxes of ammo, you can. If you can't get to the range, the intent behind how I'm going to design each lesson plan and each training session is that if you're not at the range, you can take the information and you can also dry fire that the entire time. Without a doubt, there'll be some entire dry fire sessions that I think will include the Mantis, as well as, again, showing you what to do and how to do that if you don't have that particular piece of equipment. In all of those training lessons, we're going to give you different options that are going to apply both to things like whether or not you have a red dot sight or iron sights. We're going to take all that into account. But what I want to be able to do is provide you a kind of purpose and direction in a planned training session so that you know what you're working on, you know why you're working on it, and you're getting efficient training. Now, this is going to, as I continue to conceptualize this and think this out, and by the way, we're going to be posting the first training video for that this week, but you're getting all of this for $30 a month. You're getting 4 1 hour training sessions. Now, what I will say is that does this, replace in-person training? Absolutely not. But it will definitely improve. If you can't come to us, it's definitely hugely beneficial. If you are coming to training with us, it's just going to make you that much more prepared and have you have that much more understanding of different things that we're going to cover in person. It also, obviously, the in-person training, we're there to coach you, but that's basically what this is we're providing you a personal trainer. If you're serious about getting better with firearms, it is a personal trainer session where we're going to go over that. Now, I can see us kind of building onto this, adding different tiers to where you get different levels of service and things like that. So go check that out. All you got to do is, the link is actually below in the description. I don't know if while this is going, if the description shows up, but it's Patreon, Paramount Tactical Solutions. If you just Google Patreon, Paramount Tactical, it'll be there and you can choose that option. Now, the other things that you're going to get with this, and I'm going to end up shooting a whole YouTube video on some of this stuff and kind of demonstrating some of these things. But the other thing that you're going to get out of this, as a subscriber to this service, you're also going to get 10% off of actual live training. So, especially if you're local and you're coming to training, or even if you fly in, we have clients that fly in from Colorado, California, and everywhere else, you can get that money back. But folks, for $30 a month, you're getting real training, you're getting guided training. On top of that, you're going to get a discount on training, and it will probably come up with some additional kind of amenities that go along with that as well. But we'd appreciate that. And on top of that, you're supporting us. So we appreciate the support. And I promise you, not only is this going to be a good value to begin with, but we will continue to build on it and make it better and better and better. And regardless of what offers and how we change the structure of this and pricing and different services, I'm going to keep it at $30 a month for this year, regardless of how many other things that we add to this. Ultimately, I think we could have it to where you guys are sending in, at a different pay structure. You guys are sending in different videos of you training, and we can give you personalized critiques on that and coaching. We can really build this out to be something great to where you're getting effective training, regardless of where you are in the country and regardless of how often you're able to come train with us. So again, we appreciate that support. Go sign up for that. I'll make it worth your while. I promise you that. And again, this is kind of the initial launch, but we're going to continue to build on this, and this is going to evolve and turn into something really amazing. I believe that. The other thing I'm going to do is often have, not often, but regularly, what we will have is guest instructors that will be able to provide you some different training. And by the way that I have this planned out, folks, is 1 week we're going to do handgun. The next week we're going to do carbine, and the next week we're going to do long range. For some of those of you that aren't into long range, or maybe you're not into handgun, folks, regardless, even if I only did one video a month, I promise you that $30 a month is well worth the value. We're going to give you all the experience that we've, from our operational experience to over 20 years of training experience. We're going to give that to you. Yes, right now we're just doing monthly only, Richie, and I think $30 a month per person is I don't plan on offering like an annual discount or anything like that. We'll figure that out. Now, I'll be honest with you folks, I'm still figuring out the backside of Patreon, how that looks to the client, the different things that we can do, manipulating, the different options within that. The other thing that I plan on doing with that is also giving you bonus material all the time. Things like discussions, or maybe like ballistic, kind of like the classroom instructional stuff. Any sort of class instructional things, from very basic to advanced. Let me back that up. Anything that we're going to be doing as far as like a classroom portion that we provide on that will be a bonus. I think the other thing that I'm going to do is put kind of the classroom material from our tactical carbine, our handgun courses on there, and our long range courses on there, so that you can see that, even if you can't, attend. But I think that will be really good for training you and your family, and I think it'll be a good value. Now, these courses, or these training lessons, right? They will be applicable from basic to advanced. And ultimately, what this is going to give you guys too is a library of materials that you can, whatever that you want to work on. Not only will you be getting those updates, but now you'll have a whole library of materials. You know what? I just want to work on carbine. I want to work on transitions. I want to work on mag changes. How do I do that correctly? Well, guess what? Gary has a video for that. Paramount Tactical has that covered. We can go back. We can look at exactly what we want. And now we have a lesson plan. We have a gear list. We know what we need to do. We get it all ready in the morning. Take that one box of ammo, so we're not spending a bunch of money. Bring more if you like. And then you can go out and you can execute that. And there'll be more to that. I'm going to put out a training diary so we can analyze what's going on. You're going to get diagnostic training drills so you can track your progress and see how you're progressing. So, that's how we're going to work with that. So hopefully, again, we appreciate the support. Support us on that. I'll make it worth your while, I promise you. And on top of that, this is going to greatly expand, and we'll be able to offer more services and just get more value out of it as it goes on. Chad Wyckoff over here says, can you explain the point system on AR pistol laws, pistol brace band that they are looking at? Chad, I cannot, because I've just briefly looked at that and I know very surface level information on that. I need to have somebody on regarding that, and we're going to see if this pistol brace band goes through. I think this thing is going to, I think they're definitely they're going to do it. I just don't know how long it's going to last. This seems like one of the most unconstitutional things that I've ever seen ever. So, I think that's going to get challenged very quickly. And I don't see how it survives those challenges, but we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. Speaking of courses, when will 2023 release on your website? Just moved to this year and need a pew pew fix. Aaron, great question. I promise you, folks, I promise you, by next Wednesday, by the next time we have this, we will have our schedule up. We are waiting on one where we do our long range. We sent proposed dates for that, and we're waiting to make sure that we don't have any conflicts there, because the problem is, and while we're hesitant to put the rest of the schedule up, is because any change there changes obviously the rest of the schedule. We might have to move things around. It makes it confusing. People, especially those, so many clients that are out of state and travel far, they start planning these things and sign up for courses. The next thing, we got to change those around. That changes their flights, all these things. So I appreciate your patience. Trust me, there's nobody more frustrated on this. But if I don't hear back from them this week, we're going to make a trip up there and go get it settled in person if we have to, but we will get it up. We've been waiting on them for over a month. And it is what it is. Let's see. I'm not asked for amnesty for this stamp. I think yeah, folks, on this whole thing with these pistol braces and things like that, I am not interested in complying on that. I kind of want to be careful how I say these things. But the reality is, folks, is that the U.S. government, in my opinion, does not have the constitutional authority to take things that you have purchased legally and suddenly say that if you don't take this free stamp, you don't register this item, you are now a felon. I'm going to personally push back on that. I hope everyone else does, if that ends up even being the case. I still have hope that sanity is going to prevail, and they're going to say, you know what, this is stupid. And if you want to initiate some major civil unrest, this is how you go about doing it. So don't take a single free pass and trade your liberty. That's because that's what they're proposing. They're saying essentially what Jason's referring to is that, okay, look, we made these now a controlled item, but we're going to give you a free tax stamp, which is also one of the craziest, most ridiculous, unconstitutional things I've ever seen ever begin with. Whole NFA. But don't take that free tax stamp out of convenience, because it's just going to cause you more problems later on down the road, and it's going to give the government more power, and it's also going to show that the people that this involves are willing to comply with just about anything. So I personally am not in favor of that or even considering that. That's how I feel about it. Let's see, monthly only. Oh, okay, we covered that. Monthly only for now, and I'll tell you, just going back to this, folks. I'm giving you this, $30 a month, folks. We pay. Many of you right now have apps on your phone, and this includes me, that we're paying more than $30 a month for. Maybe not just one app, but multiple apps that we don't even use. So we're talking about, $6.50, $7 per week, or $7.50 a week, essentially, to get a training session from, a professional training session. So anyways, my point is get in on it this year, because next year is probably going to cost more. But I tell you what, we don't forget the people that support us. So we'll see what we can do with that, especially for those of you guys that jump on it this year. But I think it's going to, I think you're going to enjoy it, and I think it's going to be a big success for us, and we appreciate the support. What else we got going on, folks? Hunter just hit me up personally on the issue, and we can. Okay, yeah. Any knowledge of CCW license loss of Fourth Amendment? Absolutely not. Look, I'm not a lawyer, so take this for what it is, folks. Just because you have a CCW license, I've heard this before, and look, again, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know what certain states require and things like that, but that does not. You are not giving up your Fourth Amendment to, by getting a CCW license. So, again, check your local state and ordinance with that. If you need to talk to a lawyer, I do want to find, there's one I have in mind, by the way. I do want to find a good lawyer that is really up on gun laws that we can have on regularly or intermittently, that we can cover a lot of this stuff. We had the Gun Trust Guru on. If you haven't checked out that video, I definitely recommend. He is a lawyer, but he basically covers gun trust and estate law and things like that, which is really where that falls underneath. But we do need to get a lawyer that is up on not only the Fourth Amendment and other gun laws that go into that, but that's a topic that's near and dear to my heart, and maybe even a controversial topic that I want to discuss more in a productive way, and not in a way that is going to seem like that I'm anti-law enforcement or anything like that, because I'm not. Look, folks, law enforcement, I love them. I will say there's a real problem when it comes to, I think a lot of the problem is that law enforcement obviously don't know the law, and in a lot of instances, right? The other part of that is there's without a doubt some folks that are in law enforcement that are ego driven. That type of, just like the military, that type of occupation tends to draw A-type personalities, and A-type personalities, male or female, tend to be a little bit more ego driven. And then on top of that, man, as someone that has trained law enforcement, I've worked for a federal agency for over 8 years as a special tactics instructor training law enforcement. The reality is that, again, we get into some ego-driven things, but they don't know the law, and then they also get into an issue where they are dealing with crap all the time. And I think it's easy to get jaded, right? And I think it's also easy to lose sight of what you're really there to do. And I think the biggest problem, I guess my wish for law enforcement would be that, or my solution, I think, for a lot of the issues that we've seen over the last few years and a lot of the hate that goes toward law enforcement, is I really think they need to have a focus on the fact that they are first and foremost there to support the Constitution, support and defend the Constitution. And that includes supporting and defending the constitutional rights of even suspects they have in custody. So, if they do that, I don't like when law enforcement, which they're legally allowed to do, when they lie and trick people into giving up their constitutional rights. I don't care how big of a dirt bag you're dealing with. And I say this knowing that if I was behind that badge and I was dealing with the worst scum of humanity, I would probably do the same thing. It's easy to get to the mindset of, what, my job is to get this guy off the street no matter what. And if I have to bend the rules a little bit or trick him into this or trick him into that, I have no doubt that I would be one of the first people, because I just know how my mindset is. But with that being said, I think that if law enforcement, number one, are have the mindset of, look, I have to protect this person's rights too, as well as any harm that they may bring to the community. It's all the same thing, because if you're violating their rights, intentionally or unintentionally, based on just being ignorant of the law, if you are violating their rights, I mean, you're a real problem to society too. So that's how I feel about that. And I think law enforcement need to take a look at that. And I think, when they're tricking you into allowing them to search your vehicle or ID you when they don't have the right to ID you, and then they'll continue to say, and I've gone down, I'll be the first to tell you, I've gone down some of these law enforcement audit video rabbit holes. And I will also say that I think those guys that are auditing, that are out there intentionally trying to provoke law enforcement, they're as big as shitbags as anybody. I don't justify what they do, but what they are doing is they are exposing a real problem. So, it's something that I would like to work with law enforcement on, so that they can have a better. Because here's the thing, folks. Look, I don't believe in the Black Lives Matter movement. I don't think that we have a major issue when it comes to police brutality, although it does happen. And one of the stats that I hear get thrown out all the time, which is true. There's millions of encounters with police where nothing bad happens. But the problem is that there's also millions and millions of encounters with police that happen every single year or happen every single day, whatever the numbers are, where hundreds of thousands of people feel like they've been violated by that interaction with law enforcement. And they leave that interaction with a really bad taste in their mouth for law enforcement. And whether it's openly or tacitly now basically support an anti-police movement because they've had their rights violated. They feel like they've been treated like a criminal when they shouldn't have been. So that's kind of how I feel about that. I love cops, love all law enforcement, except for the FBI. They've kind of turned into the secret police, the Gestapo. I got a little problem with them, or at least the leadership has. Definitely become a political hit job organization. That is true. There's 100%. Most of the Black Lives Matter, the anti-police or defund the police movement, it is predicated on absolute lies and propaganda. There's no doubt about that. So we got some good recommendations up here. When you were living in Washington State, do you recall any long-distance rifle ranges off base to shoot at all? I'll be searching for long-distance. I don't, Chad. What was nice about, being at a group, SF group, is, I basically had unfettered access to ranges almost as much as I want. So I definitely wasn't off post looking for ranges. I know they're up there, and not only are they up there, but I think there's definitely some open areas out there. Maybe go talk to some farmers that have a lot of land and things like that. So that is definitely not true, Steve. No one can search a residence without a warrant or probable cause. I will check into some of these recommendations, folks. Armed Scholar, Ryan Kleckner. There's a guy here in West Virginia, I believe it is civil rights lawyer. He does a lot of these analysis, and he's here in West Virginia, which is kind of one of my kind of draws to him. But he does kind of some analysis of these interactions with police where he feels like basically police have overstepped their authority and have violated the rights of citizens. And some of those folks, and by the way, a lot of those come out of West Virginia. Some of those interactions are, they are unbelievable. And it's just shocking that any law enforcement officer with a badge would conduct themselves in the way that some of those interactions are conducted. So there's definitely some other folks out there, Ryan Kleckner. We know some great lawyers locally, by the way, but I'm always, which I will reach out to, that are also clients. But I'm always careful I don't want to get them to where they feel like they're being compromised in any way. But anyways, we'll talk to them. We'll talk to some of these other people. I'll go back through this list of guys that you are providing, and I will do some research on them. And look at possibly reaching out to them. Because there again, folks, what I'm not interested is having these discussions with lawyers or other people, anyone that is also like anti-police. I think there's definitely some areas that we can improve on when it comes to policing with attitudes and things like that. But I also want to make sure that, because we always support law enforcement, we always will. But I do think that there are some definitely going to, anyways, we want to hit those up. But yeah, we have a good friend and lawyer, one of the best I know, watching this tonight. Maybe I'll reach out to him, or he can reach out to me. He knows who I'm talking about. He can reach out to me and see if that's something that he'd be interested in, because I would love to hear from him, especially. Qualified immunities go away when there's no repercussions for blatantly violating people's rights. Well, see, that's the thing, John. I think qualified immunity serves a good purpose. The reality is that if they are found guilty of violating anyone's civil rights, as far as I understand, again, remember, Gary's not a lawyer. As far as I understand, they lose their qualified immunity. And we're definitely seeing, I think we're definitely seeing people holding police accountable more often. We're also seeing where people are, police are being targeted. I would hate to if we got to a point to where either, only the worst of society ends up as cops because, they don't have anything to lose or whatever it is. I wish they would, I think somebody needs to figure out a way to make sure that we're recruiting the best and brightest. And then, there's a whole lot of support that cops don't get. Again, folks, if you put yourself in police shoes, the death, carnage, everything from car wrecks and kids being killed and everything else that they're exposed to every single day, I think there is not enough emphasis on PTSD for cops and the things that they go through and the things that they bring home and their home life and all of the challenges that cops face on any given day. And I think we need to approach this in a very balanced way to where we're fair to everybody. But at the end of the day, we need to make sure that we're supporting and defending the Constitution and making sure that we're supporting and defending the constitutional rights of even people that are possibly guilty of the worst crimes ever. And I really believe in, there's an adage of something like it'd be better to let 10 guilty people go than to let one be charged or even arrested falsely. That's the thing too. I think that sometimes cops lose sight of is, they have these interactions where people get arrested. I know guys that have even security clearance and stuff like that. Man, the effects of an arrest that it has on a person's life, they can lose their job, they can lose security clearance, they can lose so much just from an arrest. And they need to be well aware of the power that they have and the damage they can do to somebody's life, an innocent person's life. And just be aware of that. Let's see. I've been listening to you for a long time. Yeah. So Richie, you're right. That's not something that I bring up very often. Richie says, I've been listening to you a long time. Heard you cover a bunch of topics. Personally, what matters most to me is faith, family, freedom. It's curious if you're a religious person. I am. So, I'm definitely religious, probably not as practicing at the moment as we have been in the past. And it's easy to get caught up in life and do all these other things, but absolutely. My family is Christian. We believe in, you name it. As a matter of fact, for those of you who don't know, I grew up in an extremely religious household. My parents, I grew up Pentecostal, and I'm talking hardcore Pentecostal down in Texas. And, we went to, our whole life revolved around church. I'm not saying it was a bad thing, but it was, as a child, it was intense. I'll just put it that way. But, we basically I went to the private church school there. So we were there every 5 days a week. My stepfather ran an additional ministry sponsored by the church. So we did church on Tuesday. We were at church on Wednesday. We had prayer meetings on Thursdays that we went to. We had church twice on Sunday. We had youth group on Friday. And these were all like, you went to these things every single day. And growing up hardcore Pentecostal, there was no TV in our house. We weren't allowed to wear shorts. It was a pretty interesting upbringing. Let's see. On your website, put an option to notify person items. We have that, Steve. We have an out of stock notifier. So if something is out of stock, you can click that, and as soon as it's in stock, you'll be notified. You have to have an account. I don't know if you didn't sign up for an account on our website, but we have that. So look at that. I can solve your problems in an instant. Yeah, and see, that's the problem. And that's the problem. And folks, this goes back to what I was saying. So we have this big swing where now we're going through this anti defund the police whole whatever, right? And part of that problem that has built up to this is because so many cops for so long disregarded people's rights and abused their authority. So there again, you know, you're building up this negative collateral with society as cops. And then, you know, some major event happens and everybody's like, yep, I knew it. I knew what was going on. And now we're swinging completely in the wrong direction. So it's almost from one extreme to the other. So that's where we don't want to be. We don't want to be in a place where police are afraid to do their jobs. Aaron says, I'm looking to get a PRS. You recommend an MPA that might be overkill considering I'm brand new to long range shooting, and we'll go to 3 or 4 matches a year. Any other recommendations? Not at 2,500. Yeah, I mean, you know, there's lots of guns out there that I would say will get the job done. The problem is, to be honest with you, Aaron, is most guns that are going to be competitive are right there at the like 2,000 mark. You know, I mean, you know, right up there at about 2,000 mark anyhow. And that's my problem recommending anything else, because I think if you get into it, you're going to end up, and that's the problem is, even if you get like a Ruger Precision, I don't know what they're going for now, but you know, when I first bought that gun, it was like, I don't know, like $1,100. I know they're significantly more now, but then you get that gun and you start adding all these accessories, and the next thing you know, you're at, you know, 2,200, maybe even 2,500 or more. And you still have less of a gun. Whereas, you know, that MPA comes out of the box ready to go, and it's a quality gun that you can use for many, many years. So I have a hard time really suggesting anything less. I just know for a fact that if you save your money and it's a priority for you, you know, spend the $2,500, and I think it'll be a good investment. And even if you decide not to compete, you're left with a rifle that is, you know, just as high quality as really anyone ever needs. You know, when you start getting into anything above the 2,500 mark on an MPA, all you're doing is upgrading. You know, you're spending significantly more to get very little in return when it comes to performance and quality. So, you know, while that's I think just a huge value. You know, I tell everybody all the time, one of the biggest questions I get all the time is, hey, Gary, I want to get a long range gun. I'm looking at the Delta 5 Pro or whatever else. And specifically, the Delta 5 Pro comes up a lot. And I think that Delta 5 Pro is a really good gun for $2,500. I think the MPA is a really good gun for $3,500. It just happens to cost $2,500. I mean, the fit and finish, the quality, and everything else that you get out of that, man, it's just, you know, I would say save the money and you know, invest in a gun that you're going to be happy with. You're not going to feel the need to upgrade or anything else. And that regardless of where you are from a competitive standpoint, you're always going to be happy with it. As a new shooter, you have a competitive gun. And if you become the top shooter, you know, you're going to be happy with that gun. You're going to get all, you know, gear oriented and want to, you know, get a better action and do these different upgrades to, you know, an MPA, because you can spend, you know, $5,000 on an MPA rifle, but the amount of actual improvement in performance from that $2,500 to that $5,000 is single digit percentages. You know, any top shooter that would win a PRS match with a $5,000 gun, they could do with that PMR Pro 2. So that's my advice, man. There's plenty of other guns out there that there's plenty of reviews and stuff on that you can check out. But I really think, and the other thing is when you're getting into production guns, folks, there's a huge margin of error where that gun is not going to do what you expect it to do. You know, and that's the problem with production guns is that they are mass produced. So there is a percentage of them out there that just never perform like the very best of them perform. And then it's hard to really hold the feet to the fire of those companies because they're good at wiggling out of that. All right. I didn't see it when I looked at your scope setting site. You were out of stock on a Tipton gun holder. Well, we got them back in stock, Steve. I'll look into that. I don't know if Dan's still on here, our web guy, but we definitely have them back in stock. So if you want one, go get one right now, and you'll be good to go. Yeah, I agree with that. I have a problem with that, with the whole revenue collection idea. That is a great suggestion right there. When it comes to self-defense, we definitely need to have somebody on. And again, if there's a lawyer out there that would like to come on that is comfortable talking about that, I'd love to have him on. You just couldn't wait. What else we got here? I'm way behind. You're most likely to get hooked. Wish you'd gone bigger earlier. I believe he's talking about his reference to the gun. I agree with that. As soon as you get one of those, when you start compromising guys on your gun, again, buy once, cry once. Comes to rifles, optics, all those things. I think there's a lot of truth in that. Invest at the beginning. Don't try to skip out. If you can't afford it, I get it. There are more affordable options. Just understand, when you're spending less money on those options, they come with a lot more variables. And I promise you, any of those sub $2,000 guns, you guys are going to have those for a while, especially if you start competing. You're going to grow out of those so quick, and you're going to see that it was a waste of money. What else we got? Got TK-T3, TAC A1, Vortex Diamond Tech, or to work on all the upgrades. Wish I started with MPA. And I will tell you, in my opinion, the T3 is probably one of the best production guns out there. As far as consistency, their action's great. I have had people contact us saying that their Tika isn't shooting the way that they thought it would, but much less so than any other production gun that I know of. And that includes Dan Defense, which I love, but I've had a lot of people contact us on that, which, by the way, I will show you guys real quick. We do have a, I'm just going to show it to you. I'm going to pull it out of the box and show it to you. Our next gun review coming up. I've actually been meaning to get this out. I was going to do it one day, and the weather was terrible. So we do have a Seekins Precision Havoc Pro right here, still in the box, still in the wrapper. Kind of an unboxing for you guys, if you will. I haven't even pulled out the bolt or anything else. So I am interested to see how this gun performs. I will tell you, it definitely looks nice. I can tell you there's some things that right off the bat, looking at it, all I've done is open that box. This is the first time I've actually even pulled this out. But there are some things on here that I think are really cool, but there's also some things on here that I see can be a problem. But anyways, stay tuned for a definitive, super in-depth review. Don't stand there all creepily. Summer, get in here. Summer just got back. She is here. You know what? I have a seat right here, babe, and I will switch over to here, and I will go turn on your microphone so everybody can hear your angelic voice.
Oh, wow. Being so nice.
I can do it in front of you.
Here. I'll let you do the controls today.
And by the way, folks, I did not have, Seekins did not send it to me for free. I am not.
They sure did not.
I am not that level of YouTuber yet. We paid wholesale for it, but it was still a lot. And anyways, you know what? I won't even go into it. We'll wait for the actual review. I won't spout everything just off the initial look-see, if you will. Starting to compete myself. Got a long range call of 2020. Awesome. I'm sure you meant fall.
Aaron has a question about the
awesome advice. Truly
muzzle
appreciate
brake.
it. How much is a good quality muzzle brake on the NPA? I noticed they do not come with one. All right, so that's a great question. Number one, the best quality muzzle brake that I have used to this date, and I mean this sincerely, is the MPA BA brake. It's $130. Now, Aaron, regarding this, so you get the PMR Pro 2. I just want to explain, which is a very basic difference between the PMR Pro 2 and the PMR Pro.
We get this question a lot.
Yeah. The PMR Pro comes with a muzzle brake. The difference between the two is that the PMR Pro 2 comes with the upgraded diamond trigger, which is about $130 more than the, what trigger comes in?
It's the Trigger Tech Special,
which is an excellent trigger, by the
comes
way.
in the PMR Pro.
Comes in the PMR Pro. So with the PMR Pro, you get the Trigger Tech Special and you get a muzzle brake.
Yep.
With the PMR Pro 2, you get the Trigger Tech Diamond Trigger and no muzzle brake. So all
they're both $2,500.
They're both $2,500, and all they're doing to stay under that $2,500 price point is moving $130 around. Now, here's my thing on that. I think the PMR Pro is an excellent value because that Trigger Tech trigger, the Special, is an awesome trigger. And feeling to, if they're set at the same weight, I don't feel any major difference. The only real difference is that the Trigger Tech Diamond can be set lower. I think it goes down to like 5 ounces or something like that. But
I think the Special only goes down to like 1 pound, if I remember.
Yeah,
correctly.
something like that.
Yeah.
Which I actually put it down as low as it was, and it was still, I think that it pulled much lower than 8 ounces, by the way, because when we actually got a Pro in, and I wanted to really play around with that trigger, so I did. I want to see what a big difference between the Diamond and the Special was, and I set it as low as it would go, and I think it was pulling at like 8 ounces, which is really
that's half a pound.
Yeah, that's half a pound. So it might be a better option to go with the Trigger Tech or with the PMR Pro. Folks, I can't tell you enough. Look, I've tested lots and lots of muzzle brakes out there. The BA muzzle brake, the MPA BA muzzle brake, it's on our website. First muzzle brake that really wowed me. I mean, how effective that muzzle brake is super impressive. So I don't know. I don't know of anyone that's tested those or compared those to other ones out there. But I can just tell you, just from actual experience, that was the first one that really wowed me. Ghost guns. Ghost guns are stupid, as in the term. I'm all about 3D printing your own guns. You should be able to. This recent ATF ruling about serializing even those is stupid. That's what I think. Good advice from Richie. That's a more eloquent.
We are not 3D printing guns, just for the record, for anybody listening.
We don't 3D print guns.
We don't have any 80% whatever. We don't 3D print guns.
But I support anyone that does.
We're above board legal.
Which we can. You just have to. You just serialize.
I know.
Richie said something basically what I said much more eloquently, right? So, buy once, cry once. It's expensive. Most matches are $250 to $300. You use 200 rounds, $400 in ammo, travel and hotels. It's not a cheap sport to get into. There's no doubt about it. Still waiting for the Seek and Sit review. Yeah. I'm still waiting to do it, Jason. MPA brake. MPA brake, not much better. Not
He's
much.
Saying there's not much better out there for the money. When I first read it, I was like, wait a second.
It's not much better.
It's not much better.
It's not much better than
yes,
money.
It is.
It is better than money. Plus, it will be a good friend. Absolutely. And folks, you know what I love about the MPA brake, besides the fact that that is, again, one of the most effective brakes out there, is how easy it is to install. So, it's basically a self-timing brake, just like the Hellfire by Area 419. So you can basically put it on there, get it adjusted right. We have 2 different, essentially, nuts that are, one is opposite. What's that?
Is it counter torque?
Yeah, they basically just lock on there with counter torque. And anyways, it's easy to install. You can install it in 5 minutes. You don't have to worry about shims or anything like that. So
look at that. I knew a word. Counter torque.
You did. You counter torqued it. You also know counter twerk. Summer's the best counter torquer I've ever.
Stop. Oh, I can't look at the screen now.
Yes, John. By next weekend, by next Wednesday, we will have that up.
And states will be mostly West Virginia, John. But we do travel. If you get enough people together, we can come to you.
Yeah, and folks, we are opening. We have courses that we'll be running in Richmond. So if you're closer to Richmond, we won't have long range courses there, but we will have tac carbine, handgun courses, and we'll be doing some med courses down there. So that's
Virginia.
Richmond, Virginia, and that is a big accomplishment of ours. And thanks to we have 2 great instructors down there that will be running courses there. So pretty cool thing to be expanding to another location. So we're happy to do that, and will be very beneficial to a lot of people that can't make it all the way up here. It'll be, you know, a good 2-3 hours closer for many folks. Awesome. Hopefully you order from us, or because if you didn't, just saying it right here, just throwing it in our face. I'm just joking. I'm glad you got it, regardless of who you got it from. But next time, order from us, or I kill you.
Guys,
do you ever hear anyone in branch of service have a Geisley? In your branch of service? Well, I'm not in the branch of service anymore, but I was in the Army and Special Operations. Once you're in, you're always in. I will tell you, many guys put, especially again, SF guys, when you are deployed overseas, I know many guys, including myself, that put in non-compliant triggers, right? So it happens all the time. I think in most regular or conventional Army units, and same thing with Marines and everything else, guys aren't putting those. And I will also say that you're much better off with single stage trigger. I think single stage triggers are the way to go, whether we're talking ARs or long range guns. And by the way, if you're putting a aftermarket trigger in an AR, I highly suggest you go to our website and get one of the Trigger Tech triggers on our website. They are much better than Geisley in every way. Installation, reliability. I'm a big fan of Trigger Tech, and there was many reasons I don't like Geisley. They were good. They kind of started the trend. They're not bad triggers. They're much better than obviously stock, but things have moved forward a little bit, and I think there are better triggers out there.
Chad says, will my MPA Pro 2 come with a new ERS chassis?
Yeah.
Yes. Listen, guys, if you are on here and you have ordered a PMR Pro from us and you don't have it yet, you will get the ESR chassis. You'll get the new chassis, the upgraded chassis, and even the latest batch of guns we have sitting here waiting for cases or scope mounting or all this other stuff they're all the new chassis. So,
except there is an exception to that. If somebody else orders an FDE chassis, you may get my old chassis, and I may switch it out for the new ERS chassis.
Oh, it's a new gun.
But look, I'll sign it. I'll sign it or something.
Why you broke it in for them?
Well,
right?
Yeah. I mean, I made it better. And that's the thing. I have been trying to figure out a way to break it to summer. Like now, my gun's old, so I got to upgrade a new gun with a new ERS chassis. So
get the old version now.
Think
your crap's outdated, Gary.
To work MPA
on a Paramount Tactical Edition rifle.
I don't know. Maybe so. Maybe we can do a color scheme or something. I think that'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good. That's a good. I don't know. I'd talk to.
Sorry, I'm reading ahead in comments. And
don't ever read ahead.
I'm giggling.
Don't ever read ahead.
You started something.
Yeah. Anyways, I will look into that. We need to see twerking by summer. Look, we also have an OnlyFans.
I was about to say, if you do the $150 a month Patreon,
Jesus Christ.
We can start a new
That's
level.
That's a whole other level tier of Patreon accounts. And right next to our Patreon link is our OnlyFans link. It's 99% me in there. But we might be able to get Summer in some tight jeans or something. It's counter twerking.
Anti-twerking. Yeah. No, we thanks, Steve. I appreciate that. But
it's all
we
good.
actually know we know him pretty well, so it's all
What was the average MOA group that you've seen from the MPA rifles that you've shot? About 0.25 with I have shot many many groups with 6.5 Creedmoor 147, 6.5 PRC, 147 grain ELDs, both of those, and 140 grain ELDs. And all of those, I think like the worst one I might have had, and it was, a group's only as good as you're feeling that day, or good as you're shooting that day. But, like not hardly trying. I can shoot a 0.35, 0.3 group with that gun. But if I'm really down there concentrating and aren't all caffeined up, I can easily shoot a 0.2, 0.25 MOA, which by the way it's on our website or on our YouTube channel on the review with that. I show you that. I shoot it right there in front of you. So the gun can do that for sure. So it's just a matter of whether or not you can. But I have clients send me videos and pictures mainly. I don't think they send me videos. That's I misspoke there, but they send me pictures of,
and you end up measuring them.
Yeah, and they'll actually send me the picture, and I'll throw that on whatever little app hand me the phone real quick. There's an app I like to use. I don't get any affiliation links or anything like that, so don't buy this until I do. But Sub MOA is the app, and it takes some pretty good. It's pretty easy. They'll send me a picture. I'll take some measurements, and 0.25 is pretty easy. Those are guaranteed half MOA. The MPA PMR Pro, and I think that's pretty easily done with box ammunition.
He said he did get the PMR Pro from us.
Good. All right.
It's hard to recognize the names on here. You know what I mean?
All right, you're not on our shit list now, so you're good. All right. Were you talking about some kind of subscription service 2023? I think I caught. Yes. So down below, again, there's a link, or you can just Google right now and listen and continue to listen to us. Patreon Paramount Tactical. We'll be doing basically a virtual academy. We'll be doing 1 hour training sessions on there. It's $30 a month. You can also watch the beginning of this again, because I covered it pretty in detail, but it's good subscription, lots of value. Also in the description of that, when you go on there, you can see, again, I kind of outline what you get for that, and it's well worth it. And on top of that, as a subscriber to that Patreon tier, you will also get 10% off of courses here as well.
Richie said he went with we were just looking at those today, Richie, placing our dealer order, looking at the 419 Hellfire with the adapters.
I love Area 419. The Area 419 Hellfire brake is great. It doesn't compare to the MPA, but it's a good brake, and it's easy to install. And I love all of their equipment. So we are definitely going to be placing our first dealer order very soon, and we'll be good to go on that. This is an excellent question I've covered in the past, but yes. So not only we are now probably like 40 days out. We talked to them about 2 weeks ago, and I talked to them specifically about PR7 PRC, and they said they were tooling up to start making guns in about 60 days from that time. So we're probably that's probably, a couple weeks ago, 20 days ago or so. So the next 45 days or so, they will be producing those rifles. Thing is there's going to be a big run on that. So what they are allowing us to do is pre-orders. We already have multiple pre-orders in, and we are basically at the front of the line with that. So if you pre-order a 7mm PRC rifle with us now, you'll be first in line, because I'm telling you right now, folks, as popular as that cartridge already is, there's going to be it's going to add as far as lead times go. So just be aware of that. So if you want one, get one now. I also recommend, folks, if you want a 7 PRC that is a long action, if you're looking at additional barrels, a good one to consider is a 300 PRC, and that's going to be my next rifle. I'm going to get a rifle that's I have a 7 PRC barrel for it and a 300 PRC barrel for it. And again, when you order those from MPA, they're going to match each one of those. They're going to machine to within 10,000ths of an inch that barrel and that action, and those are super easy to switch out. I got a video on that. If you haven't seen that, go check that out. You can switch that barrel out in about 15 minutes or less. I was wondering, does dimpling on an AR barrel reduce accuracy? Well, it just depends on the barrel. I mean, anytime that you're removing materials from a barrel, whether we're talking about dimpling, whether we're talking about oh God, what's it called when you put little spirals on there? Anyways, I lose half my brain when I get on this thing. I swear to God. Anyways, anytime that you're doing that, folks, you're changing the harmonics.
Rifling, is it?
What's that?
Rifling?
No.
No.
You're changing the harmonics of that gun, and you're also changing how it's going to react to heat, expansion, and everything else. So typically, when you are doing that to a barrel, when you're removing material, and on top of that, not every area where that barrel has the material's been reduced. You are, it's not reduced perfectly the same in all points. So, what's nice about a larger bull barrel is the fact that it is going to be less resistant to that. And then there's even small impurities and imperfections in the steel of the barrel. So that extra bulk on there kind of makes up for that. And that's what allows, a bull barrel or a thicker barrel, these thicker profile barrels, actually have good accuracy because they're less prone to all barrel harmonics. They're less prone to hanging something off the end of the barrel like a suppressor or other muzzle brake, all of those things. So when you're not really getting other than aesthetics. Now, with that all being said, with an AR is only going to be so accurate to begin with. Most of those are really thin profile barrels. It probably doesn't make that big of a difference, but I would not do that to a precision gun, period.
Michael Gibson says he's glad he didn't order FDE, but he got black, I believe. But Michael, seeing your name reminds me, I don't think we've talked to a couple of clients about this, but so there's several of you on here that had ordered cases and rifles or foam and rifles. And we had pre-ordered all these cases, got the cases here waiting on the rifles to come in for the PMR Pro 2s, got our ducks in a row, ready to go. And we have this batch of PMR Pro 2s show up. I believe Gary was in Africa, and I'm unboxing them all and getting ready to put them in the cases and get them shipped out. And everybody's excited. And I'm excited to move stuff out. Well, the rifles don't fit properly.
Yeah. So,
and that's when we realized that they had implemented the change for the new upgraded chassis. But what that meant for us is we had to sit there
10,
and
15
go back
cases that
and
we had to redo.
A number of cases in foam, and it's been a nut roll. But
all the joys of having your own business.
Hours of work to redo this,
and unhappy customers because their order's delayed.
Yeah.
So
but most people have been very understanding.
Yeah. Everybody's great.
Yeah.
And if you're not. No, look, so MPA, we knew that was coming out. I'm not sure that they even let us know that there were dimensional changes to the, which I don't even know if we asked. We also didn't know when they were going to start shipping those ERS chassis out with the PMR Pros. But they just started shipping them out. A miscommunication or lack of communication between us. So anyways, we had a bunch of cases we had on standby, ready to go. We're just waiting for clients' guns to come in. And, unfortunately it was what it was, but we have got, I think we're all caught up now.
Well, yeah, we're just waiting for all the new correct foam to come in.
So,
but we have everything submitted and redone for everyone's cases. And, but we're just waiting for it to get here. What?
I was looking at how much Patreon
He's
is.
cheap. $8.
$8. $8.
You can't even get your hair cut for $8 anymore, Gary.
I know, but I'm hoping at least 3 people will sign up. Then I'll
Know your worth. Know your worth.
All right, so that's a great question. The difference between those. Also, to answer somebody else's question above, tomorrow I will shoot the video. They're fairly minor, but significant. They're minor in dimensional changes, but significant as far as performance or
Chad's
accommodation.
asking the same question.
So tomorrow I will
video.
shoot the video and outline in a very detailed manner the differences between the ERS chassis and the old BA competition chassis. I think you guys will like them. It solves a couple of really small issues, but it's a nice upgrade without a doubt. Enough to where I wish I had one. And I'm gonna have to switch one of yours out for mine. No, I was a sniper, so I was with the initial push into Iraq. I was in a scout platoon, moved over to sniper section. Actually went to sniper school in Iraq in 2004. Was a sniper team leader for the rest of that deployment. came back, ran the sniper team, went to SF. I served as a sniper in SF as well. So hopefully that answers your question. And without a doubt, out of the moment that I got behind the long range gun and sniper school, which I don't know, that was definitely one of the best times of my life, but also the scariest time of your life, thinking that you're going to not pass. One day I'll share with you a little bit about that particular sniper school. Less than 10, I think it was like less than 10% actually passed that particular school because of the winds that we were out there. We were in Iraq.
I think you did a video where you talked with
I did
quite a bit about that.
If you go to our channel, the guy that I went to sniper school with, Michael Laird, awesome dude. One of the best people I've ever met in my life. But I was at his house several months ago, and we shot just a really quick interview on that. I think it's worth watching. So go check that out if you want to know more about that. 3-4. I'm not that good using factory. There you go. So 0.3 to 0.4 MOA, not just using factory ammunition. Did anyone else lose audio?
Got a question on the switch lugs.
Let me know if anyone else is losing audio, if it's on our side or it's just Tim G experiencing that. What's that?
Someone else said that their audio is fine. So
switch lugs.
Yeah.
I was wondering why because
we get this question a lot too.
Yeah, so switch lugs. Number one, I will tell you this. You can switch out the barrel on the standard MPA out on the range with about $130 worth of tools and do it a little bit longer than switch lug. I talked to MPA specifically when we first started carrying these guns. I was planning on doing a video on the switch lug and all the things with that. So I talked to them to get some background information, technical information, their experience with them. And basically what they said was it's a mixed bag with the switch lug. Looking at other reviews and other things like that for other companies that use switch lugs or people that are shooting switch lugs, some work really well and some don't. So to me, it's almost an unnecessary variable, and it is a recipe for potential not happy clients. On top of that, I just personally wouldn't use it because there again, it's a couple of bolts. You need a vise, a barrel vise, and a torque wrench, and you can get that barrel apart pretty darn quick on the standard ones, and you're guaranteed the accuracy, right? Again, that thing's going to lock down just like it did come from the factory, whereas there's a lot more variance when it comes to the switch lugs. So I just not a fan of those. Proof barrel, questions on them. I'm assuming you're just wanting my opinion on them. Carbon fiber barrels, I think generally, I don't think when it comes to accuracy on all carbon fiber barrels that they are nearly as good as carbon steel barrels, right? On top of that, I have a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth when it comes to proof. We are, I won't even name the company. We sell certain guns from a company, and they used to exclusively use proof barrels. We got a batch of rifles in along with them, and next thing I know, I got clients saying they're not shooting. Won't group. So I call up my friend who owns the company, talk to him about it. Apparently they got this huge batch of bad proof barrels, and then proof was basically like get bent. They didn't do anything about it. So
Proof didn't.
So the owner of the company ended up taking care of our clients, of that particular company, ended up taking care of our clients. And yeah, so that's what I think about proof barrels. I know a lot of people love them. A lot of people stand behind them, think they're great. I personally would rather just prefer getting a lighter profile barrel if I'm really worried about the weight. At the end of the day, carbon barrels, it's almost a novelty in my opinion, because you're not getting, number one, they're much more expensive, and you're not getting the weight savings. That's like not the place to save weight really on a gun. And I think ultimately, all things being equal, you can get a steel barrel that's going to perform better. It's going to be very close to weight, whether you cut it down in length or minimize the profile a little bit. I'm not a fan of carbon fiber barrels. AccuTac feels nice, sturdy. Yeah, man. Thanks for the business, Jason. You'll love that AccuTac. There's no doubt about it. Stu Baker's reverb echo effect. So we'll 1 or 2. That's
He's talking about the audio.
Okay. Can you get the factory MPA 22 with CZ action complete gun? Looks like for the new Curtis action. I can check on that, Richie. If they're still making it, we can get it. Simple as that. The only thing that I know that we can't get from MPA is their 22 conversion kit. They are selling that only directly. That may change in the future. So that's the only thing that I know that we can't get.
Richie, we can't sell the old foam. We have to destroy it and send it back to the company that that sends us the new foam as the replacement. It's part of the way they do business.
So basically, what happens is, folks, on these cases that we get,
is we pay for an insurance policy on it. Basically.
So what happens is we provide the design on the CAD program, and then we buy the cases from them, and they water jet the foam, right? And then so what's included in our prices, because I don't ever freaking take the chance because I just had too many issues.
What's included in the price to you guys? We pay it for it on our side.
Yes. So it costs us, it's $20, depending on the case, which I thought it was $20 across all cases. I just recently found that if it's a big case, like a SKB case,
it's like $70.
It's $70. So, anyways, I always get that because
we're getting spammed.
All right,
take care.
We're getting spammed. Anyways, so I have submitted designs that I know are good, and I think there's something happens with either their water jet system, whatever else. Regardless, the point is sometimes we get cases where the foam is not cut correctly or doesn't fit what we're trying to fit in there. So therefore, we have this $20 insurance policy that allows us to replace that foam for free. With the agreement is that we basically show that the foam is destroyed. So
or mail it back. Yeah.
Which we just destroyed. So anyways, that's the deal with that. So we can't, that's a long answer to a short question. I'm embarrassed now.
No, it's just kind of, what did you do? This is what happens at Paramount Tactical Headquarters.
That's right. Where did you get that?
I have no idea.
From there. Freaking dirty. All right. Let's see. Looking to see the changes. Agreed. AccuTac. All right. I think we got through everybody's questions.
Yeah.
What other questions, gripes, or complaints about summer do you have? It's getting spammed. Any other big announcements or anything we got going on?
The other thing I want to mention real quick for a lot of you that saw Gary's video on how to maintain a bolt, lube a bolt, is we really appreciate it. We got a huge amount of orders for the Friction XP. Yeah. I will have that huge batch of that here by the end of the week, and then all those orders will go out. So I appreciate your patience on that. We did not realize the amount of orders for that particular chemical that we would get just based on that video. And I was very quickly cleaned out, but I do have more coming in from Vortec, and thanks to Vortec for rushing our order for us. We really appreciate that. But anyway, I'll have all those orders shipped out at the end of the week, and appreciate the orders, first of all, and appreciate the patience on me getting those out. It's stressing me out. I really want to get them out to you. Trust me.
Sig Spear Thumb, great question on this. So this is a good place to announce kind of a policy thing that we've had to do, and I'd rather do this in person because the email just makes me sound like an asshole.
And in person, doesn't?
In person, probably not. There's a little more context. So we've had to get away from giving people updated lead times on rifles. We were getting 20, 30 plus calls and emails a week. Hey, when's my rifle coming in? I get it, guys. You know, I'm excited as anybody, and I want to know when my rifle is. So beyond, but it was just end up eating so much of our personal time, MPA's time. We were losing hours a day trying to track down and give somebody an update on the rifle that literally some people were calling more than like every other week. Like, when's my rifle? Like, it was 4 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. So I think it's 2 weeks. And I get people, you know, it's a lot of money out, and, you know, you want your rifle, and I get it. So other than the 8 to 12 weeks, which is kind of the standard, what we're going to tell you, and because that's what MPA says the lead time is, we really can't give you updated lead times on that. So I hope you understand.
It requires me going into my files, finding your order, finding the corresponding order confirmation number that MPA sent back to me, then contacting them, having them look up the order on their side, and it, and then I got to get back to you. It's just, it eats up a lot of time, and there's also that window of, look, it's 8 to 12 weeks. It's a great rifle. It's worth the wait. It is what it is. We're not trying to sound
like we got
crass
your money
or
now, screw off.
that we don't care about giving you good customer service. That's not it at all.
It's just too much. That's taken away from other things we have to get done, taken away from other clients, and we're losing money.
If it's been 6 months, shoot us an email.
If it goes over, like if you're at the 10-week mark or 12 weeks,
even 12 weeks, because some of the odd calibers take longer, I've noticed.
Yeah. So, but we've never had a rifle take 12 weeks. Did we?
Yeah, there's been a couple.
I'm a liar.
Of like odd ones.
Next time, you always agree with me when we're on the podcast.
No.
For the clients, always agree with me. Yeah.
No, because then they're yelling at me if it's over 12 weeks. Just like I'm yelling at you.
I can't.
Better knock on wood.
What was that? Do you have another question? I think I skipped over. I have a compliment.
Oh, he's compliment on the
thanks
website.
for the website compliment, man.
We have someone amazing that works on our website on the daily. Dan is on, if he's still on here.
Yep. Does a great job.
Yeah. I mean, we wouldn't be close to where we were without Dan in many ways. So he's really done a lot for us.
Oh, I was about to click on that. I'm sorry we got rid of your link.
Sorry, Hunter.
I'm
sorry.
Sure there's plenty of Googles that'll get you where you want to be.
We don't need to be a part of that. You'll be fine on your own. Yep, Tim, that's why I'm waiting on a couple of those chemicals to come in from Vortec.
Yep. We'll get those to you as quickly as possible. So we appreciate the response in that. It was more than we thought and more than we had ordered, to be honest with you. But don't worry.
We're very thankful.
This next order, we will be good for a while.
Yeah.
Well, how much did the order weigh alone?
I don't know. But I placed the order, and then Gary's talking to the rep, and he's like, just double it. And I'm like, no, I already ordered a lot. There goes our bank account. No, I'm just kidding. But
so what we need you to do is go get those subscriptions.
Go order some more Friction XP.
Go order a bunch of stuff. Sign up for your Patreon. $30 a month. You'll be glad you did.
Yep.
I feel like you guys get crazy amount of spam. I only see a small window.
You do.
Yeah, we do.
It's just like someone commented on the last live stream. They're like, man, you must be killing it on the orders, because I ordered in October. It was this order number, and I ordered in November, and it was thousands of numbers later, and then ordered December, and it was another thousands of orders of numbers later. No, well, I mean, we get good amount of orders, but most of that is spam numbers and orders coming in fraudulently that are rejected by the website, but it has to assign them an order number.
He's talking about on here.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I thought he meant in general spam.
Again, give you guys a little deeper insight into because some of you, I know, like if you go onto our website and you're trying to sign your accounts, it'll lock you out and do some things sometimes. So if you have that problem, give us a call and we'll fix it. But the problem is, what you guys don't, we literally have like thousands of spam attempted orders and things like that. We'll wake up in the morning and we'll see literally thousands. And I truly believe that is a thing that maybe they target all businesses, but I do think, they target, it's an anti-gun thing, right? So they're targeting business that are pro 2A. But regardless of how or why the motivation behind it, the fact is that it happens. So we had to greatly kind of up our
security and spam,
security and IT security, which again, Dan has freaking squared away. Also, we noticed like sometimes it's a little bit more difficult to order, and sometimes initially when you try to order, it won't go through. If it doesn't go through, try it again. It's probably not your card. It's probably some sort of thing going on with ours. So don't give up. Keep pushing forward and don't quit till we get your money.
Or call us and I can help you out, or run you through a manual system and get your order marked as processing instead of not paid. We're here to help, but like what Gary's trying to say in a lot of words, let me sum it up for you. The website is pretty locked down when it comes to security stuff because of all the spam, and sometimes that makes issues for legitimate users. So if you have an issue, give us a call.
Absolutely.
There you go.
How long has Paramount Tactical been in business? We've since late 2014. Our first training season was 2015, and so we've been going from there.
Paramount Tactical is almost as old as Noah. He wasn't one yet when we started.
He's not quite as productive as Paramount Tactical. We need to get him making some money. Let's see. Any of those gun maintenance items, chemicals in a package, if you want to get them all.
We're working on that.
Yep.
We're working on that.
That is
We're going to create like a rifle cleaning package for 6.5 and a rifle cleaning package for this, or maybe just a rifle cleaning package, and then you can select the caliber of brushes and jags. Or
yeah, we're going to make a bundle. Another one of the videos that I'm coming up that I have on my to-do list very soon is how to clean an AR the right way. And that includes making sure that, every couple thousand rounds, if you really want your AR to last a long time, especially if you don't want to shoot out your barrel, one of the things you should be doing with your AR or any other rifle is making sure that you do a good copper cleaning on that from time to time. Obviously, ARs aren't as sensitive, but what I have seen many times is people think their AR barrel is shot out, and all they have is a bunch of copper built up in there. So if you want to preserve that barrel, get the most life out of it, get the most accuracy out of it throughout its lifetime, you need to every now and then make sure that you clean the copper out of there and do a copper treatment on it, just like you would an AR, a long range rifle. So there's no real difference at the end of the day between those two, but there's lots of guys that do copper treatments regularly on their long guns, but they're not doing it on their ARs. And if you would think about it, there's no reason not to, and that'll dramatically change that. On top of that, there's lots of other products and things like that that I recommend for the AR, as well as the particular lubricants that I've tested and have found to be exceptional, which, I'll tell you right now, if you go to Lucas, the Lucas Extreme Duty Oil, folks, when it comes to running your AR and pistols, that's all I use. And I've tested a lot of stuff. It's been the best so far.
But don't go to Lucas and buy it. Go to Paramount Tactical and buy it.
Yeah.
You said go to Lucas.
Go to our website. Did I say go to our website?
You said go to Lucas.
Damn it. Go to our website.
Go to our
website. You have brought a lot of attention and reviews to the MPA rifle, which are awesome content, but have you thought or done some MPA DA pistol?
I look at these on the warehouse a lot of times.
Yeah,
too,
so
in the website.
Yeah. And the only reason I haven't is because of just time, right? I want to get a couple of their pistols in, as well as I'm trying to think of their little submachine gun they got that looks pretty cool. Been wanting to shoot a good rap video, and I'm going to need one of those to do that. Maybe two. I'll probably need two. But no, I think both of those are great. All of their products have been superb so far, so we're looking into that.
Steve, I am always on my game.
Summer's on her game. Don't encourage her.
Hang around a little while. You'll see.
Don't encourage her. What else you guys got? Any other questions before we shut this bad boy down?
Hey, Peter. Yep,
Peter.
We're waiting on long range to get confirmed, and then because if we have to move any of those, we'll have to
Peter,
reschedule everything. But yes, it's coming.
Restate my commitment by next Wednesday. We will have 2023 training schedule up. It's going to happen. I don't care what I got to do. I'll make up courses, dates,
we'll have to
prices, numbers.
All.
No, you'll have it next Wednesday. Even if we got to go up to Peacemaker and talk to them personally.
Okay.
Oh, no. They're not trustworthy. I didn't say that. I just said there's better triggers out there. So that's what I say. And I also say, regardless of a Geisley or otherwise, I think single stage triggers, because they make single stage triggers too. I think single stage triggers are better. That's my opinion. Than 2-stage triggers.
We could carry Geisley if we wanted.
I had an old deer rifle go to crap on groove, thought the barrel was shot. Nope. Happens all the time, Tim. And again, I see that especially with ARs. Literally had clients, thinking that their gun suddenly shot out in the middle of ranges and freaking go from there. And yes, we are going to have some PRS introduction classes this year. Yes, without a doubt. So one of the requirements for that is definitely going to be our long range level 1 course. So if you haven't taken that, go take that, because that is going to be a prerequisite for that. Go vote for the Gundies. Again, we appreciate folks. Again, I think this cool. It is a cool thing. And again, I'm honored. I had no idea what these were. I had no idea. And
you can vote as many times as you want. So if you want to sit there and click and vote, just because you love us that much, we appreciate it.
Get you some French fries, some ice cream, just sit there and vote all night. Might as well. If we're going to be nominated, we might as well freaking win this thing.
Right.
How often is Gary the one teaching all our courses? I have taught every single long range class that we've ever taught in the last however many years since 2015, except for one. This past was it the past? No, not the past.
It
one.
was the one in September.
So we had one in September. Where was I? Africa. I think it was Africa.
No, I think you were in like Jordan or Turkey. Turkey. I don't know, somewhere.
I was somewhere on the globe. Spin the globe.
He wasn't here.
I wasn't there. Let's see. I do want to do a pistol course this year. I need to work on my forms in there. Well, love to help you out with that again. Oh, that was the other thing, folks, that I wanted to talk about when it comes is something we do in all our training, but I also want to reiterate the fact that I'm going to take this in consideration when we are for our online courses, our online lessons, right? Look, folks, I know not everybody out there is 19 years old and has all the mobility, so we'll definitely make sure that we include, which is, just kind of the standard operating procedure when it comes to our in-person courses, but make sure that regardless of your physical ability, we're going to throw you options in there so that, again, it will always pertain to you and give you as many options as possible. So don't be afraid if you think, you're not 20 years old and spry as you used to be, that you're not going to get a lot of value out of that Patreon Academy, that Paramount Academy, those online courses, because you will.
Well, Hunter's young. He'll be.
I have major arthritis in hand and like that 2-stage over single. I get it. There's nothing that will ever completely replace personal preference. So nothing wrong with that. Also, if you're an alumni and not in the Facebook group, you're missing out. Yeah. So if you guys aren't aware of this, make sure if you've attended one of our courses before.
That's what alumni means.
Alumni means.
Just FYI.
Unfortunately, it's not available to just our YouTube subscribers. But if you've taken one of our courses before, we have an online group. You can go onto our Paramount page. They're on Facebook.
Paramount Tactical Alumni.
Paramount Tactical Alumni. And all you got to do is answer some questions. You'll get in there and there's exclusive content, exclusive discussions. We try to do more. We'll continue to do more on that. But
I try to announce like sales in there first, or like restocks of gear that is, highly sought after, things like that. I'll throw it up in there first before we put it on other socials.
Richie, I'm not going to SHOT Show. No, we got other things we got going on. I do want to try to get a SHOT Show next year. I've never been to SHOT Show. Usually we didn't go to SHOT Show because we were doing the Great American Outdoor Show here in Harrisburg. But we have not been to SHOT Show, and I'm not going this year, but we'll try to get up there next year. I think it'd be fun for Summer and I to attend.
The camera is gone.
Oh, my camera died. All right, folks. The audio's still going.
Just to answer, the Gundies is basically like the Emmys of the gun world.
Sure.
The Oscars of the gun world.
You can Google it.
Anyway, look up the Gundies and go vote.
You can vote on the Gundies in your undies.
Just stop. You're embarrassing yourself.
It's probably a better show now that they can't see me.
Yeah.
All right, folks, listen, it's been a great night. Thanks for everybody for showing up. We really appreciate it. We always appreciate the support. Continue to buy from us. Make sure you train with us. Go sign up. Go get you an enrollment into our online courses. I promise you, folks, I'll make that worth your while.
And come hang out with us on Wednesday nights.
Yep. Always tell your friends about us, share our content, all those good things. This company grows because of you, and without you, we can't do it. So we really appreciate you supporting us, being able to do what we love to do. So anyways, you guys have a wonderful night. Everybody stay armed, stay ready. We'll talk to you soon.